Hello, I'm Pastor Dave, and this is our Advent devotion for December 7th, 2021. Such a babe in such a place. Can he be the Savior? Ask the saved of all the race who have found his favor. This part of the first verse really does bring to mind one of the questions many people have had, and many had at that time. Who would you expect to be the Messiah? Before Christ, when people were asked about who the Messiah may be, they were thinking in certain lines of what the Messiah would look like and what the Messiah would actually do. When you look at the prophecies of the coming Messiah, the Messiah wasn't always, or the foretold Messiah at least, was not always the Son of God. Some hoped that the Messiah would be the political leader to lead the people. Others had the hope that the Messiah would be a military figure or an ancient Israel version of George Washington to lead the people, throwing off the Roman yoke and bringing about the rule of God on earth again. At least for God's promised people. Some just assumed the Messiah would be a great leader. Not all Messiahs in the prophecies were mentioned as God coming as a baby. Some would assume maybe it was someone who would have God's call placed on their life later when they were fully grown. But one would have to wonder how many of the shepherds looked at the baby and asked the same questions in that second line. Is this the Savior? This baby? This little child who would take years to grow, decades really. Were they thinking about how long it would take until deliverance would come? These are questions we should still ask ourselves today. There are some who still ask whether or not this baby was the Messiah, was the promised one, was the Savior. Some look even at the teachings of Christ from his ministry and say, is this the Messiah? But the answer is also in these words. Ask the saved of all the race who have found his favor. Those who follow Christ should be proclaiming it and saying, this child is the Messiah. This is the one in whom you place your faith. That's our Advent devotion for today. I hope to see you tomorrow.